My name is Parker Belden.
Grant Joseph.
Mark St. Pierre.
Jared Waters.
Gerardo, Pulido.
We're going to talk to you about the air balloon freight.
Alright, some basics to know when considering airships as a mode of transportation are that they use non-flammable helium to create lift, which is a lot safer than using hydrogen as their fuel source, even though hydrogen is a much lighter element. This flotation system is described by its manufacturers as being much like that of a flying submarine with its limited maneuverability and slow turning radius. And the potential capability to take off and land without the need for a runway gives airships a competitive advantage when delivering containers to areas that are difficult or impossible to reach with any other mode of transportation. Alright, and the three most prominent examples of airships at the moment are the Aeroscraft Dragon Dream, pictured in the top right, the Verilift, pictured in the bottom left, and Lockheed Martin's LMH-1, pictured in the bottom right.
Okay, so one kind of airship that will be available in the future is the Aeroscraft ML-866. The specifications and dimensions for this air cargo ship are as follows. It will measure 150 to 300 meters length, depending on size. The wingspan will measure 50 to 110 meters. The airship will be 36 meters tall. Maximum speeds are expected to be around 220 to 350 miles per hour, depending on the size of the airship. It will be able to fly at maximum altitudes of around 12,000 feet. And finally, the Aeroscraft will be capable of carrying 66 tons. There are some potential problems with the airships though. One of the potential problems is the rising cost in helium. The kind of helium that the airships will require will cost upwards of $100,000 for just one trip. Another problem with the building of the airship is that the companies are turning away from air freight. They're starting to use more ground service since ground transport can now be competitive with air freight up to 1,000 miles. This means that an airship would make more sense for remote or hard to reach locations, considering the costs involved.
The airborne nature of the airships, their usability is very versatile, which is good for many situations. The military, for instance, operates primarily in places with bad road infrastructure. Using an airship would practically eliminate reasons for any kind of stockout or shortage of materials from a transportation perspective. This concept of reliability could be used in many different situations and in many different places around the world. North Alaska is a great example of a region with a very high transportation cost. These costs are reflected in the cost of goods, so the cost of living in areas like this are generally pretty high. Using airships in these places would lower the overall cost of living for people in the region, which is a benefit for not only the people there, but also in their local economy. Airship speed and reliability would allow for transportation of bulk, fresh commodities to be much more practical and profitable for firms, no matter the region or where they operate, depending on where the fresh commodity is. Overall, the airships could serve as a substitute for ocean carriers, or at least provide a more premier form of transportation than the regular ocean carriers.
In the future, there may be more requirement for additional cost analysis due to multiple sizes of airships. But for the purpose of this cost analysis, we're going to compare the Verilift ARH 500 airship to a 1,000 TEU capacity container ship on a route from Anchorage, Alaska to Seattle.
All right, so for the container ship total cost equation, we used a website called crates.com, and it was just an easy way to not have to guess about any of these prices. But basically, it used a total handling cost, road haulage, and port fees as prices for delivering 20-inch containers from Seattle to Anchorage, Alaska. So basically, there's a handling cost in Seattle and Anchorage of $370, which sums up to $740. There's road haulage of $101 in both destinations, which sums up to $202. And there are port fees of $160, which sums up to $320 in both destinations. So that comes out to a total of $1,222 per 20-inch container. And we multiplied that by 1,000 TEUs, so that comes out to 1,202,000 per container ship load to deliver a full container ship load to Alaska from Seattle. So, cost equation. We calculated that the the ARH 500 could carry 500 tons. So you transfer that over to TEUs. That is about 229.5 TEUs. So multiply that by the $1,222 per container. That comes out to $36,049 for one full load of an airship. And for the helium, we multiplied the 1,671 cubic feet times 1.06, which is the price of helium per 1 cubic foot, which comes out to 1771.26 for the price to fill up the airship with helium. So this comes out to about a cost per trip of $36,611. And so we calculated that it would take about 34 trips by the airship to equal one trip by container ship. As you can see, the container ship can carry 17,000 tons, whereas the airship can contain 500 tons. So I just divided 17,000 by 500. And you multiply the 34 trips by that 36,000 per trip of airship, adding in the helium cost, comes out to about 1.2 million for transporting the same amount of cargo as a container ship using the airship.
So which is the best option? Well, overall, the container ship is best used for bulk shipments, while the airship provides a better avenue for more strategic shipments, such as deliveries to isolated areas or deliveries that are more time sensitive or delivering perishable items. Overall, the airship is more expensive and more reliable than the container ship. So an introduction of the airship to the transportation market like this could serve the industry well, although that is not the case right now. Right now, there are not enough airships or, in general, a large enough of a need for this type of transportation. So, yeah.